hello everyone. IMS welcomes you all to our webinar series, the B School Insider, all you need to know about your dream school. And I'm your host, Kalyani, for today's webinar. So in today's session, our topic is XLRI, Campus Life Placements Academics. So in this webinar, you'll get the insider's view of XLRI Jamshedpur and find out all about the personal journey of the 5 panelists, from their XAT experience to the selection process at XLRI Jamshedpur, the campus life at XLRI, PM versus HRM at XLRI, which one to select, the academic schedule and faculty for BM and HRM, placement process and internship process at the campus, and also some fun facts about XLRI. So let's welcome our speakers for today's session. We have from first year, Dr. Nadeem Ahmed, he's first year BM, Anushri Varade, second year HRM, Harshit Jain, second year BM, Sri Harsha Marinidi from second year HRM, and Anuja Borkar. She's alumna BM and she's now with TAS. It is the leadership program at the Tata Group. Welcome all of you and thank you so much for being here today for this session. So let's start with your XAT experience. So can you all talk about very briefly your XAT score? What's the background, whether it's engineering or non-engineering? And then you can probably speak about a little bit about your prep, like how many months did you prepare for XAT? And was there anything in particular that you did to get success? Nadeem, you can start, then Anushri, then Harshit, Sri Harsha, and Anuja.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so happy to be a part of this panel. So with regards to my XAT prep, so I was preparing for NEET and AIMS exam simultaneously. So it was only after CAT that I decided to give MBA a serious shot. So IFT and XLRA were on my cards. And I think that's when I tried to shift the preparation from say verbal and decision making to primarily quant, because I thought the crowd is such, and plus that is a much difficult paper. So the 3 months or 2 months before, between CAT and XAT, that is what my primary focus was. And I think that made the difference. I was able to score 98.3 total, and surprisingly, though verbal and decision making were my strong suits, because the paper was such, I think even my batchmates will agree, it was a very weird paper my year. So quant ended up being my highest percentile, and I think that helped me convert.
Okay. Anushri, yeah.
Okay, so my that story is completely different because I'm one of those people who messed up their cat,
Oh.
and I was thoroughly preparing for cat for those past 6 months, and I started focusing on that right after I finished with my cat. Since the quant concept were really clear in my case, so I went about by focusing on the decision making section, and I focused on that using just mock analysis. I took around 5 mocks of that, and the major focus was on analyzing how the decision making section works and what will work well in my favor. So that was my strategy. And also another thing about that is you need to speed up your cons. So I went without pen and paper on every mock I took. So that was something which helped me in the longer run for that and also for the upcoming entrance exam.
Right.
In terms of score, my score was 97.6, and I was the highest in decision making and quants because they were my major focus areas. And I'm an engineer from that.
Harshit.
Yeah. So I was an engineer before getting into XLRI, and I also was working as a software engineer in Hyderabad. So I had to basically balance my work as well as my preparation. So I did start preparing for CAT in my engineering, but then I left it because I felt like I wanted work experience before coming into MBA. So I already had some prior preparation, but the preparation before this attempt was about 4 months, and I primarily prepared from textbooks I found on Amazon. Most of my preparation was dedicated to quant because I was not that fast at quant. I was sure of verbal and logical reasoning, but quant was something I was weak at. So that's where my focus entirely went for those 4 months. And the score that I got was 99.97.
Okay. Yeah, Sri Harsha.
Yeah, so I was an engineer. I'm an engineer before coming to XLRI. So this was my second attempt in XAT. And even though last time my percentile was around 99.5, 99.6, I couldn't clear the decision making cutoffs. So as soon as my CAT got over, I focused specifically on that decision making part. IMS has provided some specific material on decision making, and that was my go-to material. And from there, I started to build my basics and prepare for the exam. And yeah, so that helped me clear ZAT this time. My percentile was 98.9 this time, and it was pretty balanced across all the sections.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi everyone, Anuja here. So my story was like Anushri only. My CAT score wasn't that great, so I decided to focus on ZAT. My score was low in ZAT also. I think 96. I'm not sure 96 or 96.5 a percentile. My quant score was pretty good, so that gave me a boost. But my main the reason for my selection was purely on interview and GD basis. That was really good. So it kind of compensated for my ZAT score. And during my preparation for ZAT, I focused on decision-making section only because other sections were covered in CAT. My background, I'm an IT engineer from Mumbai University, and I have worked with Nomura Investment Bank for 2 years. And then I pursued my MBA.
Okay. Great. So tell us something about the selection process, as in the personal interview, the group discussion. What were the topics which the questions were asked? Again, you can follow the same cycle. Nadeem.
So with regards to that, I think you're talking about more of the GD and the personal interview,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
So I think every prof, so being on the other side, and when you do get to interact with the profs, you get to realize that everyone has a different set of questioning. Like if it's Rahul Shukla or if it's Kalyan Bhaskar, so each of them has a particular set of questions that they inevitably do ask. So it's more of a what do you say? I think it's their best experience when they go into interviews. They have the best fun. So, for instance, geography questions are very popular among some profs. Ethical questions are very common. So it's mostly the ethical questions are more of a trap. Like they give you a question, it's more of a bait. You answer very quickly, thinking you're very smart, and then comes the second question or third question, which is a trap. So those questions are very common in GT. I'm sure all our seniors have had the same experience. Apart from that, I think they do want to understand how you will be able to leverage your WorkX. Every WorkX person, like for instance, I worked as a healthcare consultant. So they really wanted to know what I could bring to the table. Although XLRI values diversity, they still value merit a lot. So it's not just that because you are a diverse candidate, you get to come through. So they question you a lot on WorkX if you're a WorkX candidate. They want to see whether you can actually leverage that. And if you're very clear about what is the kind of work you did, what is the kind of collaboration you can have with students, especially when the batch is like very diverse. So I think WorkX is one, then geography based questions is one, ethical questions are one, and then apart from that, current affairs so definitely happens. And I think for 2 years COVID has been the biggest topic of all questions. So I think COVID has been, I think this year as well.
Okay. Yeah, Anushri.
Okay, so I had a WAT, GD, and then a PI. And for WAT, we were given basic topics, which you're given 15 minutes to write about, and that's an easy section. I think everybody who is preparing for verbal can cover it. For GD, I am a person who is not very great with the general knowledge part of it. So I prefer to add different perspectives in the GD, and that was what worked well in my case. And let me tell you something that whatever questions were, whatever points were made during the GD is how the PI started for our panel. And in fact, I remember the topics for my GD. For my HRM GD, it was somewhat related to how India will take over China as a global superpower if we get into the manufacturing sector. And for BM, it was a topic which said that you make a good leader by not by your success but by your good characteristics. So you can come across abstract topics or topics related to the current affairs like Nadeem mentioned. And my PI went around the points I made in my GD. Then they spoke about my WorkX. Like Nadeem was saying, that they actually go deep in your WorkX to understand what you have done in these 2 years. So I have a 2-year work ex in the IT sector. So they asked me how my job is, and they will grill you on that because they might end up saying that, hey, you have done a clerical work. How will you justify your part is what matters. And also they will go after your curricular activities because I think XLRI values that. So I had put, since we had a physical interview, so I had put my artworks towards the end, which actually made them drawn towards the topic and then my PI experience.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Harshit.
Yeah. So similar to Anushri, I also had a WAT, GD, and PI, and I only applied for BM, so I only had one interview process. And in that, what we had, it was an abstract topic, so it was something like discipline is a true freedom. So we had around 15 minutes to jot down our thoughts, and then we had a GD on the same topic for 25 minutes. So again, I personally don't believe in starting with GD. However, I try to enter every 3-4 minutes and try to make at least 5 entries in the GD, and that was my way of going through it. For the interview, similar to what Anushri and Nadeem said, I had WorkX, so they grilled quite a bit on the WorkX, especially considering that my company was acquired. So they grilled a lot on why a company get acquired, what's the reasoning behind acquisition processes, and they went deep into that. They also went deep into my motivations of actually wanting to do an MBA. And considering that the professor, who was Professor Shreyasi, she was an organization behavior professor. So she really wanted to know those motivation and that the deep psychology behind my reasonings. So for 25 minutes, I was pretty heavily grilled on those topics.
Yeah, Shreyash.
Okay, so even my WAT topic was an abstract topic. It was sometimes success comes before hard work in real life. So we had to jot on some points based on that, and again have a group discussion on the same topic. So people who did not speak in the interview in the GD were given a chance to elaborate on the same in the personal interview as well. So the personal interviews are mainly behavioral interviews. They try to judge like your behavior. They believe that your behavior in the past describes your behavior in the future. So they try to really grill you on, especially if you have WorkX, or they try to grill you like if you really understand what you did and why you did the things you did, etc.
Right.
So just take care of that and just try to project that your life is not just a random set of choices, but the choices which you have made consciously.
Right. Yeah, Anuja.
Yeah. So my GD topic was so I gave my BM interview at GD. So my GD topic was do women face difficulties while climbing up a corporate ladder? So it was a very one-sided topic. So they were looking for a different perspective because no one will come and say that no, they don't. So they wanted to see whether people can bring different perspective to this discussion. I think I was successful in doing that. Then my PI was again mainly focused on my WorkX only. So I was an application engineer. So they wanted to know what kind of application I worked on and whether I can create a similar application for HR people. So they wanted to check my like whether I can apply my knowledge to a different domain or not. And second part of my interview was behavioral question. So what I thought, like I have talked to many Excel people, and what I got to know that they mainly focus on the how well you can structure your thoughts. So they want to know your motivation, as I think Sriharsha said, and second is how well you can structure. Right. And behavioral question was what is your best achievement till now? What were the main challenges you faced? How did you overcome them? How will you rate yourself right now? If someone else is facing a challenge, then how will you create a business model in order to help those people? What will be your revenue model? What will be your initial investment? So it was like 8-9 part of question. Right. It was a big interview, but again, if you can articulate well and if you can structure your thoughts well, then it's easy.
Okay, but what if someone is a fresher? Then what kind of questions they might get? Because then for PI they have very limited topics to really talk about.
Frankly, I think that they will focus on behavioral question in that case, because even in Excel placements also behavioral questions is a very common thing.
Okay.
And they prepare you in college, but before that they will check one thing, they might check that, and second thing they will grill you on why you didn't go for workouts.
Okay.
So I think that if you are a fresher, then please prepare an answer for that, because they will, and they know that that is one of the insecurities all the freshers will have, that we don't have work ex, then what will happen. So they will try to grill you on that. If you have prepare a good answer, it won't be counted against you if you are a fresher. And once you get in, you will realize that XLRI is a marketing campus, and marketing companies actually prefer freshers over work ex people.
Okay.
So that is actually a plus point.
Okay.
I would just
Okay.
like to add to what she said.
Yeah.
So they do, like, at least from my batchmates who were freshers, they did prefer to ask a lot of conceptual questions. At least some of them did have from their UG. Plus, they would, even with the limited experience that they have, the same BQs that they would either ask us with regards to crisis management, how do you work in a team, how do you handle, say, people who you don't who don't align with you. They try to frame the same questions from a UG perspective, from a college perspective, and they still test the same things. So I don't think people need to be worried about that.
Okay. Okay. So how do you decide between BM and HRM? This is a question that everybody has. Like, everybody has been asking about. Whenever they're talking about XLRI, this is one question that is most coveted.
So first of all, before answering this, I would like to clear a few myths. Most of the people from that side of the screen, maybe they might be thinking HR is just Rangoli, or it's a very chill job, etc., etc. So first of all, it's not that. HR is an equally challenging job, and most of the people I've heard them say that I've chosen HR because I'm a people person. I would like to interact with people, etc. But that's not the case. As an HR, you need to do some serious things, like you should fire people. You should tell some things which you do not usually tell to other people, etc. So even this is not the case, that if you are a people's person, you should take HR or something like that. And it's not a chill job. The number of hours you put is equal to the number of hours you'll put as a business manager. Maybe one thing may be that your work may not be involved with financial targets. So in that way, it might be a little less taxing. And I've also heard some people say that I'm not good at maths, so I'm taking HR. So even that's not the case, because you should do a lot of manpower planning, a lot of calculations in employee compensation benefits, etc. So before making this decision, I just want to tell all the people to know, like, what are the subjects which are there in HR, and what are the different things which an HR does. Get a broad idea, and then decide it for yourself, rather than going by this by these misconceptions which people usually carry.
Okay.
I guess Anushri can add to this.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so my decision of BM and HR was very simple because I got into HR only. So the only thing I had to decide when it comes to HRM is whether I'm really interested in the field. And that was a question mark till I ended up doing my internship. But yes, it was pretty clear if you just refer to the courses which are mentioned online on the website, or if you get in touch with the alumni network or someone who you know who is working as an HR to know what kind of jobs they do. So this is something you can do in the beginning. And second thing is XLRI somehow gives you an opportunity to also get into some BM roles and general management roles like product management. And there are certain roles which are open for HR people as well. So it's not like if you end up in HR, you are going to be stuck there. You still have a choice to switch while you are in Excel. So that's something, the kind of flexibility it holds is something which made me choose HR.
Okay. Yeah. BM. Anuja, you would like to answer, or Harshit, you can take the question.
Yeah, sure. So in my case, I really wanted to go into the business side of things when I was doing my work. So I really wanted to take a spearheading role in deciding where the company wants to go, what products should we pursue, what targets we need to follow. And for that aspect, I thought BM would be the most right fit in that case. And that's why from the start, I really wanted to go into BM. That was my reasoning process for the same.
Okay. Okay. Nadeem, you being medical practitioner already. So what was your, how did you decide like, okay, I want to I want to go for BM and not for anything else?
So first, before that, I would completely acknowledge what my seniors have mentioned.
Huh.
So Accelerate, it's not like BM versus HR ever in Accelerate. You would be surprised to see the caliber of students in HR and the caliber of students in BM, and the learning actually is like, and the learning is mostly peer learning. So we learn a lot from each other.
Okay.
And with regards to my decision, so I had a startup during my UG. So it made more sense for me to go ahead for BM. Although I thought I was more of a HR person because my job had more to do with people, handling people all the time. So it was a people facing job mostly. And I thought I would do well in HR. But a senior of mine, and his name is Sahil Gupta, he was a doctor as well. So he convinced me to take up BM. And one more thing I would just like to add is that, like a senior of mine pointed out, you being in certain committees, like if you are in marketing committee, Maxi, or if you are in Prodman, or if you're in those niche committees, you do in a way get a foot to apply for those firms, formally or informally. You do get your opportunity, so it's not like HR people get restricted only to HR. But I just finish HR, then come to BM. So even if you say a place like for instance, the reason why XLRI does so well in HR is that people who come out of HR from XLRI, they're able to climb the corporate ladder very fast. That's because they are exposed to the same amount of electives, the same amount of, say, business exposure that a BM student has. So they are able to understand business far better than, say, people coming out of HR from other colleges. And I think that's what leadership roles determines. You can't just be a HR person and like go to a level of a CHRO. I think that shows from the kind of alumni base we have. And with regards to BM, if you're going more towards the entrepreneurial route, and if you're very clear on, say, what niche you want, like marketing or broadman, or if you want to get into consult, BM does open up a lot more opportunities. It does give you a foot on a lot more doors. But I think people from HR have done well than people from BM. Like every year it changes, and we have like amazing alumni base in both who have started in HR. Like for instance, when I started out, there were two doctors I reached out to. Both of them were from HR, but both of them are in consulting, and one is running a startup right now. So, and it's a unicorn right now. So I think it's like mixed. Like anything will work. XLRI works. That's all I get.
So let's talk about the academics at XLRI. So let's talk about what was the first day at XLRI like.
So my first day, I think first day is orientation, so it's just time pass. Second day is the main day. On Monday, I think we have some lectures. So first week of XLRI, they have some guest lectures. So there are some faculties which will teach you about how to tackle cases. So business case is a very major part of XLRI life. There are many case competitions which will come on campus, and you need to know how to solve those. So those kind of sessions will be held in the first week. So those are not exactly on our subjects. Those are just in general to get your perspective of how MBA life works. So that week was fun. And our first lecture, I remember it was regarding the case solution only. And Professor Rahul Shukla had taken that lecture. I'm not sure whether he was there for others also, but that lecture is really fun. And he he gives a case to everyone on the very first day, in the very first session. And he tells us that you have to make a group of 10 and you have to sit today and you have to submit the solution by around 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., something like that. So on the very first day, we got to know what Excel life is. We had to pull a late night and we had to solve that case, and we didn't know how to solve the case. So it was a very good bonding experience for those 10 people. And in like my personal experience was that those 10 people are still my friends, and that was the same group I still have after 3 years. So that bonding experience is the best one I ever had. So I really liked my first day in that.
Anushri?
Okay, so my first day at XLRI is orientation and lots of orientation. And apart from that, like Anuja mentioned, we also had a case from Rahul Shukla sir. And something different is we are not used to staying up late. So we are people who stay up late, but we're not used to working in 10 group of 10 strangers. And suddenly in that whole assignment, you become bestest of friends. And after that, I think what changed is the series of lectures from 9 a.m. to 6:30 is something I was not used to during my work X time.
Right.
So suddenly you have to switch from a normal routine to attending lectures seriously, and then in the evening you have activities lined up by your seniors. So that's something which appeared to me as a cultural shock, because everybody seems so cool, especially the seniors were so supportive, that I personally come from a college in Mumbai University and I'm not used to the hostel life.
Okay.
So that's something what changed for me, and the way the seniors made it so smooth for us is what I remember from my initial days of experience.
Harshit?
So the first week was orientation, and this orientation basically covered a lot of aspects. So not only did it cover the case preparation, but we also had multiple bonding sessions. So for example, there was at the end of the orientation there was a cultural night as well. So you could decide whether you wanted to take part in a skit, or whether you wanted to sing or dance, or present a, or orate something.
Okay.
So even, for example, I took part in the skit, and with the people I took part in the skit with, it created such a bonding experience that at least for the first two or three terms, we knew each other by names, and even now we are very good friends. And even in the case prep, those 10 people that we got together with, that we made a group with, it created an instant bond for the next 2 years.
Right.
So those were someone we could rely upon. The first day of academics, if I had to talk about that, the first lecture, it was a 9 a.m. lecture, so we somehow managed to get up. But since it's the first lecture, we were all very excited to go in there. And I think, as Anuja mentioned, it was the Rahul Shukla lecture on that case.
Okay.
So that was a really fun experience.
Okay. Yeah, Shri.
Yeah, for me, the first day was all about exploring the campus, meeting new people, and forming the bonds that I cherished for all the 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. Nadeem?
I'm still surprised I'm being asked this question. We had a first day on August 8th. So unlike my seniors, we didn't have those fancy cases, all-nighters and all. So our first day was August 8th. And like, I'm not even going to mention that as my first day. I would still say my first day was on March 4th, when I actually went to campus, actually seeing that, campus building from Marine Drive Road. It was really, that was a surreal experience. But when it actually strikes, at least my batch strikes you that you're in campus, you're part of XLRA, and your college life has begun when you finish quarantine and come out. So like on March 11th, when I finished that 1 week of quarantine and came out, saw my seniors, saw my committee seniors, saw my batchmates, that's when I felt like XLRA started. So our experience is very different. I sincerely hope the people watching this will actually have a first day like my seniors. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about your faculty members. Any favorite class or professor? I've already heard quite a few names. Yeah. Any favorite class? Shri, you can answer, and then maybe Nadeem.
Dr. Dr. Rahul Shukla is almost everyone's favorite, I guess, since many people have discussed about him. Let me talk about Professor Guru. He's another prof. Like people have Facebook pages on his memes and his sarcasm. So he's a prof who comes literally without any notes. Like goes on speaking for hours and hours together, and his level of sarcasm and like the jokes that he makes is like really good. And
so is he there for both? So
no,
is he also professor for BM? No. Okay.
No, he's only for HR, but he's literally a living encyclopedia of compensation benefits and executive compensation.
Okay. Nadeem, you have any particular class?
So I think like we did have limited exposure because we were doing it online, and like anyone doing any class online will know that the interaction is very less. So the way I got to interact more on a much more granular level is because of case competitions and other projects I was doing. So I would say 3 people. Again, Rahul Shukla sir is one of them. Like he goes out of his way to help once he sees that a student is really motivated. Say like for instance, like a lot of my seniors have written cases, and he has helped them, get it up online. And like that is something like even our batch wants to do. So Rahul Shukla sir is one. Then Kalyan Bhaskar sir is one. Every competition I worked, like how Harsha said that that particular prof is like a encyclopedia. This guy, like even though I'm in medicine, he knows stuff about medicine a lot more than me. So any case com, I go to that prof. So that's Kalyan Bhaskar sir. And then for marketing, since like marketing is my thing, I would definitely say Narasimhan sir. So like he's a character of his own. Like if I the one month I was there, when I go to the gym at 8:30, he'll be there at 8. So yeah, that's a different story altogether.
Yeah, Harshit, you.
Yeah. So I'll second Nadeem on the Professor Narasimhan one.
Yeah.
So basically, I have an interesting backstory behind this. So I got my internship at Unilever, and Professor Rajkumar does not like Unilever. So there was a lot of banter in class, and basically between me and him, there used to be a lot of back and forth on this. But what I appreciate about Professor Rajkumar is that he does know his marketing knowledge. He knows this stuff. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, Anushree?
And
Yeah, sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm done.
No, anybody else you would like to add?
Yeah, so there's one more. So there's Professor Sabyasachi Sen Gupta. So he teaches accounting. He taught us accounting 1.
Okay.
And he taught in a very sequential manner. And it's not about the way he teaches, it's about the way he speaks. He's got a very poetic way of speaking. And there's a Facebook page dedicated to his quotes as well.
Accounting and poetic, very interesting combination. Yeah. Anushree.
Yeah, so my favorite professor would be Soumendra Bagchi sir.
Okay.
And the only thing, he's the only professor who will make you look at a case from a very different angle, and from every angle is what I would say. Is you will start looking at cases, and I think that's where we started looking at cases differently, and that's where the whole case solving came from for us. And obviously, one thing about professors in XLRI, not just Bagchi sir, but almost every other professor, they're always available when you are in your internships. They're always readily helping you with all the topics you have. And the second professor I would like to mention is Prey sir, because everybody used to be scared of him, and we had him in our first semester.
Okay.
So we used to wake up at early in the morning for a 9 a.m. class, and even if you enter at like 9:01, that person used to be kicked out of the class with losing his attendance. And since it is mandatory for us to have 80% attendance, that's not something you want. And after like 1 hour of your class, suddenly he'll stop and say, "Guys, surprise quiz." And then you have to move from your classroom to a hall where the quiz will be conducted, and you're not at all prepared, and you're half sleepy, and in that state you are just giving exams. So this is the memory I have about my HR professor. But apart from that, there are many other professors like Madhukar Shukla sir who will add a different perspective to your HR by subjects like cross cultural communication and social entrepreneurship. So even those are the courses which I think completely changed my view about HR in Excel.
Anuja?
Yeah, so my favorite professor would be Professor Gangopadhyay. He's retired now. He used to take probability, and he introduced us to zero, because I think 30 out of 60 people got zero in his test. And this is a common thing. I mean, every first test, half of the batch will fail. And still he was very favorite of everyone because he was really good at teaching. Okay. Second is Professor Vashne, who is a marketing professor. He makes marketing really fun. And third is Professor Gaurav Vallabh. He taught us cost accounting, and I don't like finance at all. And he still made it fun because he was really interesting. So I think, yeah, top 3.
So it's a question for all of you. Was your first year more stressful, or was it the second year? Except for Nadeem, of course, and everybody else can answer.
First year.
First year?
Yeah, I think it's common across the campus. First year is always stressful. Second year is always chill.
Yeah?
Yeah, at least my experience.
So do you have clubs and committees? What are the clubs and committees? Anuja and Anushree, you guys can answer this. Yeah, Anuja and then Anushree.
Yeah. So I think there are 3 types of committees. One are like marketing, finance, like marketing and Maxi, FireXC and all that. So there are weird names. Basically, those are specific to domains like finance, marketing, HR, etc. Yeah. Then second are extracurricular committees. And third is functional committees. So there are and placement support committees. So in XLRI, unlike other campuses, we have specific set of committees which are dedicated to only placement process, and which help juniors and seniors whoever are giving the whoever are sitting for placements in order to prep those guys. So like CV making or how to scheduling all people for PIs or placement committee, etc. So there are, so if you are interested in anything, I'm pretty sure that XLRI will have a committee for that.
Okay.
Like cultural activities also, we have a specific committee for cultural.
Were you part of any club?
Yeah, I was a part of placement support committee.
Okay. Yeah, Anushri?
Yeah. So
Are you part of any club of committee?
Yeah. Yes, I was part of the academic committee. And like Anuja mentioned, there are many committees in Excel, and right from you getting admitted, you will be getting in touch with several committees, not just the Excelling committee, which takes care of your admission process and everything, but also with the committee which is responsible for your CV. So you will be getting advices right when you get into Excel on how to prepare your CV. And that just doesn't stop there, because there are different committees. I'm not kidding. There are so many committees in Excel that you will somehow end up in one of the committees of your choice, obviously. And second thing is, we also have clubs. So we have JMAXI, we have APAXI, and these are different states. These are associated with different cultures. For example, I personally belong to JMAXI, which is Jai Maharashtra Association of XLRI. And that's how you don't lose out touch from your culture, because we have events like Ganesh Chaturthi, we have several events being conducted by those clubs. And we have special dinners, so that you get the taste of every part of India in Excel, which are served by seniors. And it is a very fun event, honestly. And apart from that, you have committee events lined up throughout the year in Excel. And it's not just related to your committee. Something about committees in Excel is you become a family when you are a part of committee, not just with your own batchmates, but with your seniors who are always there to help you through all the processes and through all the events in Excel.
Right, great. So now let's move to the next section, which is all about internships and placement processes. So let's talk about how was your summer internship? Talk in very briefly, but give the salient points. So Anuja, you can start, and then Anuja, Shri, Anushri, Nadeem, Harshit. Yeah.
So my internship was with Citibank. I was working in Mumbai. So I was supposed to work on standardization of accounting procedures. It was a nice internship, but problem was that I didn't want to work in a banking sector, because that was my background in Namura also.
Okay.
But it was a good experience in order to know how a banking sector works. If I wasn't from that background, then it would have given me a proper perspective of that sector. So it was really good in that case. And yeah, that was it. It's for 2 months, and at the end we have a final review. And based on that review, we get to know whether we are getting a PPO, which is pre-placement offer, or PPI, which is pre-placement interview, or not. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Shri.
My internship was with Ernst & Young. It was for 6 weeks, and it was a remote internship due to the COVID. And my topic was on manpower planning. It was on HR consulting. So basically, when you guys go for SIPs, which is called summer internship placements in P schools, I would just like to advise that don't go with an mindset ki you want to convert it into a PPO from day one. Like, give it your best shot. Experience all the things which are happening to you, and get a good grip of things. Learn your best, and just decide at the end. Like at the end, you should not have a regret key. If I would have given more, then maybe I would have converted. But don't go with this mindset from the first day that I should convert. Like it will put a lot of pressure on you. Just enjoy your internship and give it your best shot.
Anushri.
Okay, so I interned in Shell as an HR consultant, and my internship was also conducted virtually. And my topic was the change impact assessment of a global transformation pan India. So one thing I would like to mention about internship is it is very different to the previous work ex that you've done, because I interned directly under the VP of Shell, and I got the opportunity to talk to several business leaders, global leaders, line managers, and employees on a daily basis. So when I was working in the IT sector, that is not the kind of exposure I had been put through. And suddenly, when you are interning, I suddenly got in touch with all the professors, all the seniors, in order to understand what the topic holds, because you just have 2 months to deliver the results. And one thing you want to make sure is you don't mess up on understanding the topic and understanding the problem in hand, and then you go about finding the solution to the project that you're given. So that is something about
Harshit, yeah.
All right, sure. So I interned at Unilever,
Mm.
and it was a 2-month internship from April and May. And my project was on business process reorganization. I was supposed to look at optimizing the social media execution cycle. So, given that it was a remote internship, it was a bit difficult considering that we did not have contact, so we did not actually get to physically interact with the employees.
Hmm.
However, given that this was the first managerial experience, relevant managerial experience that we had, it was very formative in basically preparing us for second year and cementing whatever we learned in first year.
Mm.
And one thing that I'll have to emphasize is that everything really depends on how well you can connect with your manager as well as other stakeholders in the company.
Mm.
So if you have a supportive manager, your internship will definitely go swimmingly. That's for sure.
Okay.
And one thing I would like to emphasize is that communicate, because creating a network and creating contacts within the company will definitely help you out when it comes to a final review and creating a final presentation, because you'll have more data points to present.
Hmm.
So communicate. That's my key advice in that case.
So what is the placement process at Acceleri like? Harshit and Anushri, you guys can take this question.
So if we're talking about the final placement processes, so we have basically 2 separate placement processes. So the first is the lateral placement process, so LRPs we like to call that. And that's basically for students who have prior work ex, and there's a certain cutoff for that. So that happens over a period of say a month or so, and companies come, they will you apply for them, they will release a shortlist, and then they will take the relevant steps, whatever it's required.
Right.
So that could be interviews, filling forms, maybe GDs as well. So, and after once the LRPs are over, we have the final campus recruitment process, or CRPs, where everyone is eligible to apply, and that happens over a period of about 3 to 4 days. And that happens. So initially, everyone applies. There are GDs that happen, and then interviews start.
Okay.
So by the end of that, hopefully everyone is placed, and that's how it usually goes.
Okay. Yeah, Anushri, you want to add something?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Harshit
From
has
the
almost-
HRM,
Harshit has almost covered how the placement process is like. From the HRM perspective, it is all similar, because the BM and HRM process, placement process, takes place together in Excel. I would like to add on that you have different ways of increasing your profile in Excel RI itself by collecting as many PORs as you can, by being a part of different cultural committees as well as different functional committees. Also, you can have several case competitions that many of my friends have won, in fact, and you can be a part of those case competitions in order to increase your CV points. I see freshers questioning always that what can I do, because I don't have a work ex in my profile, and that columns remains empty. So that's how you can build up your profile. Then another thing which we can say we can do is having many live projects which are floated by the placement support committees and other committees in Excel. So by being a part of live projects, you just don't get a CV point or something to talk about, but you also get an experience which kind of helps you to be sure about the field you want to work in the next coming few years.
Right.
So that's something. And every company has its own placement process in Excel. So we cannot just say that this is what we need to work on. Maybe there are GDs, but then we have different GDs. Like companies like TAS and Mahindra have chairman GDs, which might last for an hour. But there are other companies who take like 15 panel members in the same GD, and then you're given 10 minutes. So you cannot have a particular way of preparing for placements, but all you can do is be good at what you are and be thorough with what you know. That's it.
Okay. Anuja, can you take us through your personal experience of the placement process till your selection to TAS?
Yeah, sure. So actually it's a little weird because I didn't take a conventional route.
Okay.
So there are many case competitions, as already mentioned by Harshit. So those case competitions give you an opportunity to land up a PPI or PPO.
Okay.
So there are some companies like TAS. So TAS floats a competition called TBLA. So in that case competition, you are supposed to win the campus round first. After you win it, you go for the national round, national finals. In that finals, you will have 9 teams from 9 top campuses across India. From those teams, they select top 3, and those top 3 get a direct PPI. PPI as in pre-placement interview. Whereas other teams will get a chance to give a go to a presentation round. Okay. So presentation round is basically you have to present your internship project, irrespective of which company you worked in. Right. So I presented my Citibank project. Right. After that after that presentation round, it's an elimination round. I was selected for the interview, and then after 1 round of interview, I was selected in TAS. But again, there are some people who gave 2-3 rounds of interview also. So it depends. It's completely on their discretion. Okay. Usually TAS follows the same process. I think Harshit, you are also selected in TAS only, so he will be able to tell you better. Yeah. But in campus also, I think only 1 extra round is there, which is GD, Chairman GD, as Anushri said. And after that, you have to go to presentation round and then interviews. And it depends how many rounds they want to take for interview. Yeah. So this is one of the way to go for PPO. So actually what happened is I had a PPO from Citibank also. Okay. And Citibank is a star clusters company. So in XLRI, there are different clusters. So star cluster is like top companies which offer good packages. Then there is 1, 2, 3 more cluster basically. Okay. And after I got a PPO, there was a change in rules. So the rule was changed that if you have a PPO from star cluster and if you reject it, then you will get only 5 applications for the final processes. And those who have already gone to XLRI know it very well that 5 applications are like, it's basically nothing. So that was the risk I had to take because I already had a PPI from TAS, so PPI in shortlist to presentation round. So I took that risk and thankfully it paid off. But other than that also, yeah, this is the usual thing. And as Anushri said, it depends on company to company what kind of process they want.
Yeah. Yeah, Harshit, you want to add something on TAS?
Yeah, sure. So Anuja gave the basic gist of the process for the lateral recruit process. So this time TAS came for the LRP. So everyone shortlisted had WorkX. Okay. So the process was like this. First, we had the chairman GD round. It's actually a pretty grueling GD. So it took around an hour, and it basically consists of 7 or 8 different GDs, where each panelist took over the role of a chairman, and they controlled the GD for 5 minutes. So that this was again an elimination round. Post which we had the presentation round, in which we had to present our internships final project. After that, we had the interview. So this time there were 3 people selected for the interview, and out of that 2 were finally selected for TAS. And there was only 1 interview that happened. However, this interview involves people right at the top of Tata company, so like CEOs and presidents. Okay. So it's a very, very important interview, and basically they can cover anything and everything. Okay. It's a GD that covers the breadth of your knowledge. To be honest.
Okay. Okay.
So that was the overall GESTER process. Okay. And to prepare for it, I think someone needs to be really well-rounded, and a well-rounded profile is really required to actually succeed in this process.
Okay. Shri and Anushri, can you talk a little bit about your placement very briefly in HRM? Yeah. Your placement process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in the same interview process as Harshit Jain. After that, this was my company. I got into PwC US Advisory. Okay. That was spread out over 4 5 days because of the slots which were given by the placecom, and we had 5 rounds of interviews before the selection. So the initial 2 3 rounds were basically case interviews. So senior managers or senior consultants from the company come and test you on various cases. So you should present your solution on the spot, and each round went around for around half an hour to 45 minutes. Post which you will have a partner round who will test your basically the fit in the company, uh, and also ask you also test you on some technical aspects. Post which you will have an HR round.
Okay.
So that was the selection process.
Okay. Yeah, Anushri?
Yeah. So I got selected as a HR business partner in Freshworks, and my process was pretty simple. It was 3 interview rounds, and each round had different panelists and different people from the company talking to me, ranging from managers to CHRO. And I was questioned mainly on my experience in Shell during my internship and my project, which was a change management project. So since it's COVID and since everything is revolving around changes in an organization, so all my 3 interviews went around in that direction. And also, my key tip on placement processes in Excel or in any other B school is be sure of what you want to be. So there are many roles opening up, from product management, consulting to HR to all the domains of management. But what you need to be sure of is where you belong, because by the end of the second year at least you will be aware of what interests you for the rest of your life, not for the rest of your life but for 4 5 coming years. And then second thing is, if you want to be a part of any company, be thorough about the company, because that's something which will show the interest you hold in joining that company. So you will be able to tackle all the questions which come your way, and that's the key of getting through.
So our speakers are going to share their memories, their special places within the campus, and they'll also talk a little bit about it.
So this is the LC1. So the campus is divided into 2 parts: the OH, the old hostel, and the new hostel. So we all stayed in the old hostel, and this is the learning center where our classes were being conducted. This is inside the classroom.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
People without masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a change.
Yeah.
So this is the OH girls hostel, and this is the girls hostel in the night.
Yeah.
This is my room. Moving inside the hostel. So we all have on the 4th floor and the ground floor had smaller rooms in comparison to the lucky ones on 2nd and 3rd floor.
Okay.
So yeah, this is how I kept my room, pretty clean.
Yeah. Yes.
Then this is the mess, and these are the discussion rooms wherein people party, study, and whatnot. And the mess was common. Moving inside the mess.
Oh, nice.
This is our mess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And this is JLT, which is very famous in Excel. So JLT is a lawn right in front of our hostel where all the activities are taking place, and people come and sit there and chill. Basically, this is JLT in the night, and this is one of the events in Excel, Ensemble Velala. And okay, this photo is not clear, so I'll just move forward. Okay. So the previous photo, this is a fountain. Whenever you are a part of any committee, there is a tradition of you getting inside the fountain and having a nice bath. So this is a weird tradition, but it is fun in Excel. This is Bishuda and Dadu's, which is unfortunately closed due to COVID.
Okay.
These
Yeah.
are you sit in. Then
Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah, these are the photos. This is a cat which is hampered by almost everybody in Excel. So in Excel, we have this village and outbound program, which during our first year, which will help you to increase your perspective and make a lot of friends. So this is a memory from that end. This is dance.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
This is again a Ensemble Valhalla function. This is outbound. I would like to thank Joseph sir, because he's the main reason why I'm in Excel. So yeah.
Yeah,
have
there you
most
go.
of the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, is my screen visible? Yeah. So this is basically what a 9 a.m. class looks like,
Yeah.
right? And when we have multiple deadlines coming up, this is basically like a virus that spreads across the classroom. I don't think I should be using this terminology right now, but that's the best way to describe it. And when that happens, this is a philosophy that we follow: do tomorrow, do tomorrow.
Mm.
And this is the dreaded exam hall that people do not like to see.
Mm.
So every term end, this would be the site that nobody really likes. Now coming back to some good memories, this is basically our outbound. So
Okay.
as Anushi mentioned, the outbound program is basically a 3-day activity
Okay.
in which you basically do adventure sports type things. So it's a nice bonding exercise for your entire section.
Mhm.
Here, all of us are doing spelunking. So we're basically going through caves and traveling through very, very small cracks. I'm not sure he managed to fit through it very well, but yeah, we somehow managed to come out the other side in one piece. And this is all of us just posing together after success.
Mm.
Another picture of Ensemble Valhalla. So the local train came
Mm.
for this, and the vibe of the audience that night was something else. I don't know. I've not seen a concert like that in undergrad or XLR after that. To be honest, we didn't have any other concerts after that, but yes, this was an epic concert, to be honest.
Okay.
So this was a picture that I took just after we came back from lockdown.
Huh.
We just came back on campus, and the campus was quite deserted, but it was kind of misty as well. So it really gave me a very peaceful vibe that it's just me and my thoughts.
Mm.
And it made me feel this picture is something that we took. This was in front of the new hostels.
Okay.
This was one of our daily futsal sessions when we were in our first year. So I don't know why futsal took off that how it did, but everyone used to play futsal for a while.
Okay.
And it was a fun activity to burn off some calories and some stress from all the classes of the day. This is JLT during Christmas time.
Wow.
So during Christmas, I think XLI spends absolutely no. They're not misers during Christmas, so they spend as much money as possible. They put on all the lights, and the campus looks very beautiful during Christmas.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And the final photo I want to share is this is when our internship process finished. As the SI process, and I think this was one of the moments when batch unity can be said to be the highest, because at this point there is no BM or HRM, there is no section, there is no cliques, there is just one batch, us, and there's just one enemy, not 100% placements. So that's it from my side.
So this is a view from new hostel. So mine was the only batch I think who didn't get to stay in old hostel. Trust me, we tried, but we didn't get to. So this is a view from new hostel.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a Marine Drive road.
Okay.
And beyond that there are hills. Then this is LC2, Learning Center 2. This is also in new campus. So there was a storm on that day. So this was a
beautiful.
Yeah. And this is our classroom.
Okay.
Just a tip to all the backbenchers, don't sit in the last row, second last row in this last 2-3 chairs as the best, because you can sleep all you want and nobody cares. And this is our group actually. I'm not sure whether you will be able to see it or not. So this is one of the late nights we were pulling off. I'm sleeping over here, and this is our group. And this is, as Harshit said, the local train. It was amazing. And this is JMAXI regional dinner, Jai Maharashtra. You can see Anushri also over here.
Yeah.
And we had created a Sachin Tendulkar's poster, and we were taking a pic around it. So yeah, that's it from my side.
All right. Thank you so much for that beautiful preview of the campus. We'll have this one fun session, a rapid fire section, wherein you guys will be answering questions in maybe one word or one sentence or true or false. Let's start. Where would you go after a long, tiring assignment in the middle of the night to have the signature dish, cheese misal pav? Yeah, who would like to answer? Okay, Harshit? No?
So I've never had cheese misal pav, but I used to go to Bishu's every time after 11:59 deadline.
Yeah, okay.
And I used to have aloo paratha after that.
Okay. Anushri, is that the answer?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is Bodhi tree in Old Hostel famous for? Who would answer? Anybody can answer.
That's a
Go ahead.
question we're still looking at the answer for. But it's a perfect gathering point for everyone coming from all the hostels. It's like it's like near JLT, it's near the mess, it's near the uh, girls' hostel. It's all right on the way when you're going to NN. So it just fits perfectly, and everyone just like, let's meet at Bodhi and let's just get there.
Yeah.
Basically,
Okay.
the rendezvous point.
The
Yeah.
rendezvous point.
I was saying, like, when I actually went to campus after
Yeah.
quarantine, I wanted to see the Bodhi tree, and it really is not that big. It's not that fancy. What makes it special is the memories I think you end up having there. There are a lot bigger trees that look much more like menacing compared to the Bodhi trees. Like almost, it's lean. It's very lean now. So I think it's the memories that count, I guess.
So what is the L top room?
Okay, so basically, in the girls' hostel, there is one room which has a huge balcony and a very beautiful view.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it has been locked and we are not allowed to enter.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that was so in our senior year, it was auctioned for around 32,000
Yeah.
rupees. And um, uh, I have also been on L top, and it is very beautiful. I think that will take all your stress away, and you just enjoy the view throughout the night.
So in senior years, it used to be a party room, and it used to get auctioned every year. And one group used to put in money, usually a group, because a group wanted to party over there. And then whoever gets that room was the one of the luckiest person in Excel batch. It was like, and yeah, I think it's closed now. I didn't know that it's closed.
So Excel, is it true? Somebody has mentioned this that Excel and IIM Calcutta sports rivalry is worse than India Pakistan in terms of intensity. True or false?
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's brutal, but it's still, I think, better than what it used to be once. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. What's the in one word explain nightlife at XLRI? Anuja and Anushri.
You are
Dug
asking
out.
the wrong person, I think.
Dug out.
Okay, no nightlife.
No. It's amazing
Party.
nightlife. It's just that I'm not a party person.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so wrong
One
person to
word,
ask.
it's difficult. It's parties, it's having fun. I don't know. It's a different setup altogether in the night. So.
Okay. So there is this one. What is the full form of Graxi? Is that how you say it? What is the full form of Graxi? Who would answer?
It's I'll answer that. It's Gossips and Rumors Committee.
Rumors
Association of
at
XLRI.
XLRI.
That's
Are
not
you
fair.
all a
You know, you
member?
are spoiling it for all the juniors.
Oh, come on, these are
Well,
the things that people would love to come here
Yeah,
for. Speaker about profile building exercise. The aspirants can begin now to have a higher chance of being selected by XLRI. Nadeem, you can start, then Shri, then Anushri, Anuja, and Harshit. So basically, our attendees are mostly CAT 2021, CAT 2022, and they will be also taking, most of them will be taking ZAT as well. So what kind of profile building exercise they can do now?
So I would say, like, since there is time, like for instance, I'll tell from the experience of my batchmates as well. There are people from all backgrounds. Like there's a marine engineer in the lot. There are people from biotech. There are people from all sorts of backgrounds. Many people who have had some form of military experience as well. And the thing is that all they want to see is to know. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just they want you to. They want to see if you're on a path to some clarity, that the next step is not out of peer pressure. Like it could be, but like you have to make some purpose out of it, and you need to be able to communicate that. And that 1 year you have, in addition to prep, all you need to do is that, one, figure out why you want to do it. Second, figure out what it is that you like, at least on a superficial level. And third, show some interest in a tangible manner that could be put on a CV, or at least could be leveraged for your interview. And I think after you come into Excel, there are a plethora of opportunities for you to make it count. So I think that itself will take a year.
Yeah. Shri, one tip.
I would say mostly it's about self-awareness about you. So divide your entire life into 4 quadrants, maybe your young age, your college times, your professional life, and like that. And in each quadrant, maybe think about your biggest success, biggest failure. What are the major set of things which you did, etc. It will help you a lot in answering all the behavioral questions in the interviews.
Anushri.
Okay, so one tip would be what really management B schools are looking out for is jack of all trades. So if you also manage to have an extracurricular participation or presence apart from your academic achievements, that would help you.
Okay. Anuja.
Yeah, I agree with Sri Harsha. It's better if you know how to answer those behavioral questions. And second thing, if you are a working, like if you have a work ex, then know thoroughly about your job. What are the different aspects of it? Not only what you did, but also what your team does or different team do for that application or whatever they are working with. Get a proper perspective. And if you are from college, then like get a thorough knowledge about your undergrad subject, whichever specialization you have, and extracurriculars.
Harshit.
I think whatever I was going to say has been covered already, but knowing yourself is probably the most important thing in the Excel interview, because they really do dive deep into how much you have introspected and how much are you aware about what you have done in life. So if you cover that, I think you're set.
Okay. How many product management roles are offered at XLRI? Maybe Anuja could answer. Yeah. Or
I think 4, 5. I think Microsoft is there, Media.net is there. I don't remember others. I think Paytm also offered it. But yeah, at my time, I think 3, 4 were there.
Anybody would like to add something?
So I think XLRI has been working on increasing the product management company that comes. So this time we had Walmart coming for the first time for internship opportunities, and HUL also offers an IT role in their shortlist as well. So that is essentially a product management role as well. So there are, I think, instead of from 3, 4, we expanded down to 7 or 8 companies that do come now, and they're still working on increasing.
Okay. And so there's a question about, you all have had work experience while you all were preparing probably for CAT as well as for ZAT. So how did you guys manage? Shri, you can answer, maybe Nadeem, you can answer as well. Yeah, you can add. Shri, first.
So I guess a little amount of discipline would do here. Every day after you come from your work, maybe you prepare consistently for 1-2 hours. More than the number of hours you put in, since these exams are a test of your basic quant abilities and your how you think. So consistency and discipline pays off here. So maybe 1-2 hours daily preparation with some 4 or 5 hours in the weekends would do it.
Okay. Nadeem?
Yeah, so just like Harsha said, it's very important one for you to be very self-aware about what is your strong suits and what is it like not so much of your strength, and then focus on them, because I think you can't go out with all guns blazing. I don't think like preparation is meant to be that phase. Even if you're preparing for GMAT, it's all about you learning to handle your time now. If you go into like full on just preparation phase, you're going to like have a hard time once you go into Excel, because or any other college for that matter, because you will have to multitask and you'll have to do multiple things which are multiple priorities. So learning to focus on what is your weakness, or if you want to leverage your strength in the paper, and then giving dedicated time at a consistent basis should do. Like I've seen people who have taken up the entire time for prep. Maybe on a concentrated phase close to an exam does make sense, but when they do it for a longer time, their motivation does flatten out beyond a point, and then it reflects in the paper. So I think consistent experience in the back end while you're managing something like a work or a project or some other experience does make sense.
Kalyani, can I just add one thing?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that those people who are working, make the most out of your weekends. So that is very important. And again, I went to IMS Thane, and I can definitely say that I wouldn't have been selected anywhere even close to XLRI if it wasn't for Jodu sir. And other IMS activities also. So I think IMS had interview prep and other GK prep, etc. Those kind of activities were there on weekends only. And those weekends were very important because I understand that in week we all are working and it's very stressful, but you have to push hard and put in extra efforts on weekend, and that will definitely.
Okay. Are BM students allowed to appear for HR opportunities during placements and the other way around? Is it? No.
No, other way around, yes. I mean, HR students can appear for BM, but BM can't for HR. So there are some roles which allow the flexibility where both BM and HR can appear. But if it's a pure HR role, then BM don't.
Right, obviously, yeah. Before we wrap up, I would really like to thank all the attendees and our speakers, Nadeem, Anushri, Harshit, Harsha, and Anuja. Wish you all a good day. Stay home and stay safe, and you all take care. Thank you so much, guys.